tonight we're gonna make love. You know how I know? Because it's Wednesday. And Wednesday night is the night that we usually make love. Monday night is my night to cook. Tuesday night we go and visit your mother. But Wednesday we make sweet weekly love. It's when everything is just right. There's nothing good on TV. You haven't had your after-work social sports team practice, so you're not too tired. Oh, it's all on. You lean in and whisper something sexy in my ear like, I might go to bed now, I've got work in the morning. I know what you're trying to say, girl. You're trying to say, oh yeah, it's business time. It's business time. It's business. It's business time. I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say it's time for business. It's business time. Ooh, it's business. It's business time. Oh, yeah. Then went in the bathroom, brushing our teeth. That's all part of the foreplay. I love foreplay. A shake, a shake, a shake, a shake, a shake, a shake. Ow, ow, ow. And you sort out the recycling. That isn't part of the foreplay process, but it is still very important. Next thing you know, we're in the bedroom. You're wearing that baggy old ugly t-shirt you got from your work several years ago. You know the one, baby, with the color stain. I remove my clothes very, very clumsily, tripping sensuously over my pants. Now I'm naked, except for my socks. And you know when I'm down to just my socks, what time it is. It's business. It's business time. You know when I'm down to my socks, it's time for business. That's why they call business. It's business. It's business time. Yeah. Make a love. Make a love for. Make a love for two. Make a love for 2 minutes. When it's with me, girl, you only need 2 minutes. Because I'm so intense. You whisper something sexy like, is that it? I know what you're trying to say, girl. You're trying to say, oh yeah, that's it. And you tell me you want some more. Well, I'm not surprised. But I'm quite sleepy. It's business. It's business time. Business hours are over, baby. It's business.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Uninformed Fan. It is Wednesday. Wednesday is the day that me and Jeffrey usually make love. Jeffrey, how are things going over there? Is the house settled down?
The house is settled. The monster is sleeping right now. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to grab the other one and take her upstairs and put her in her crib. And as soon as I laid her down, she immediately woke up and stared at me and started crying. So I was like, oh, perfect. So now she's up, he's sleeping. It's just, it can't work out together. But life is great. I'll tell you this. I've been off for a couple days now. A little under the weather on Sunday, but Monday and Tuesday, literally just been relaxing. Yesterday, got a chance. I took the entire family, not only me, my wife, and my father-in-law, but also my son. We all went and early voted. So got that done. I got a chance to show him kind of the way that it works, the way to be able to kind of look at everything and kind of break it down, and how important it is to be educated on stuff before you go, because you're, deciding elections here. So it was cool.
The fate of the world. Where did you go to vote?
We have Tibbet Butler. It's literally
Yeah,
like right here.
That's where I
So
went last time. When I was on the other side. Yeah, that was still on the other side.
yeah.
Um, there was relatively no line. I think it was there for like 30 minutes. I'm curious to how long you were there.
I was there maybe 40 minutes. When I got there, the line was by the rocking chairs. I don't know if you remember when you walk
Yep,
up,
yep,
you're kind of in line right there. The rocking chairs are right there.
Not
So
bad.
line was at the rocking chairs. Walked in. Honestly, you know it's crazy. So my father-in-law obviously lives here, but his ID says Miami. For certain reasons that aren't really relevant. But
Brazilian reasons.
yeah,
That's
he went and turned in his ID, and I was like, I don't know if they're gonna let you do that because you got to give your ID. Your ID says Miami. I don't know if they're gonna let you do it. He turned his ID. They're like, are you still registered? You're still registered to vote at 9723. Is that still the correct address, or do we need to change it? He goes, no, you need to change it to my address now. They changed it right there on the spot. Good to go. So I was like, wow.
Wow.
Government efficiency. Go.
I wonder if you could also go down to Miami and use that and vote there too.
I don't think so because I think it has to do with where you're officially registered to vote, not where you have your address at. And so
Makes sense.
That's kind of the issue because you claim residence even if you have your ID linked to.
So you went on Sunday?
I went last night. I got there last night at 6:30, 6:45, and I was like, "Ooh, we're kind of going at a time right now where everybody's going to be getting off work. It might be a little bit busy, but in and out in 40 minutes, not even." So
I went Monday at 11:30 a.m.
Yes.
And I was in line for an hour and a half at Orange County, which just shows the stupid growth that is happening on this side of town. I sent out to the group text, I was just like, there's no way that like anybody in Florida works. I guilty, but I don't leave my house. But on the same token, it's like no matter what time of day you go out, the roads are always busy. Everything is always busy unless you're in a restaurant, and then of course then you have the the lulls there. But everything is always busy.
And we do live in a bustling area, and listen, we're Orange County. If you're voting conservative, your vote probably is not going to matter because you're going to be drowned out by a lot of other people. But I did want to vote on the amendments, especially Amendment 3 was really important to me. And I know Buff is probably very opinionated about this, but I wanted to make sure I voted no on Amendment 3 for certain reasons. I just don't think that the way that the bill is written, it's great for us. As people, it's basically like if the government said, yes, we're going to legalize marijuana, or let's say they're going to say, hey, listen, you can buy groceries now at a discounted price, but the groceries that you can buy are only going to be grown by us, and you can only buy it from our grocery store. That is my issue. You can't grow your own plants. There's a lot of things. It's all corporatized. And for me, I think the little guy still matters sometimes, and this basically pushes out anybody who was maybe not a Marlboro, right? But maybe they were I don't know,
cool.
A Jewel, yeah, like something, yeah, like
cool.
A cool, right? The cools
Joe
that
Cool.
like are like smaller people, are pretty much going to get completely pushed out by this because it's becoming so corporatized, and the amount you have to spend on security and different stuff like that, and knowing people who are linked to this industry as well too. It's just for me, it's
all about money.
I just voted no, and like I said, I know it's probably going to pass, but I wanted to take a stand somewhere, and I've gotten entire diatribes on Facebook comments with people about this and everything like this. And it's just whatever.
I voted no as well, but honestly, just from your comments and what Plinkton said, and honestly, I have my medical card anyway, so I have to buy it from a certain source anyway. And obviously there was a few commercials, which again, to me, political ads should be absolutely banned. Just because you don't know if they're true or not, but you got sheriffs on there talking about how they're not going to be able to stop people smoking weed on the streets and things. That's my biggest concern is you legalize marijuana, and all of a sudden now you just got random people just smoking weed on the streets, and I don't think that's good. I don't even smoke. I use edibles, but the smell is not something, and at the end of the day, if you've got children or something walking down the streets, I don't know how much smoke it takes to actually get a contact buzz, but I would imagine a small child with a smaller immune system, all of that stuff that has never smelled it, could probably get a contact high pretty easy, I would think.
I will say this, and I do think that there is your validity in all those points is completely fair. For me, I'm not worried about walking down the streets of 535, right, and like smelling something.
It's something about more big cities.
Exactly. When I was in Chicago and we're just walk down the street and there's policemen right there and you're just blowing it right in their face and nobody can say anything, and it's just like, okay, whatever. And I don't do whatever you want to, but for me, the corporatization of this, somebody who wants less government regulation, not government regulation, but less government in my business, less everything when it comes to that. It just seems like this bill is pushing everything toward more, and so that's why I voted no. Personally,
lots of stuff going on out there. Like I said, lots of stuff. I saw some some rules being broken. I saw some political T-shirts being worn in there. Here's my biggest issue with the voting system, right? And then we are going to get into sports, I promise people. So you wait in this line, right? You go through all of this stuff. They hand you your ballot and they're like, make sure that you keep your circle in the circle.
Right, for the
and then they give you a wacky, wavy, inflatable arm guy stand to when you start to do it, the whole thing starts shaking. The people that are next to you, when theirs shakes, it hits yours. It's like, bro, can we just get a sturdy table?
That's
can we
fair?
Can we get a table?
Like, can we just not? Why do we have to use an automated system? Or why can't we have both? Right? Why can't we just use the automated system that we use, but also have somebody hand checking to make sure that the automated system is correct as well, too? Right? Like,
at the end of the day, like I said, shit's going to go downhill. And if you don't think it's going to happen, I mean, 2020, regardless of what you want to say about the election, whether you think it was stolen, all I'm going to say is there are some things that should have raised an eyebrow. That's all. And I'm pretty sure with the news that's already come out with states saying they're not going to be able to certify elections immediately. I don't know if you saw in Florida, they found ballots on the side of the road that had fallen off a truck already. Like,
yeah,
give me a break. But anyway, let's get into some sports. We got some good stuff to talk about. We got Bucks, we got Bears, we got heartbreaks all around. Let's get it started with Jeffrey's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons come into town 31-26. Baker, 2 costly interceptions again over the past couple weeks. He still had great numbers. Let me put it out there. And he definitely performed when he needed to perform. This could be a little bit of something of, the new receivers trying to get on the same page. So I'm not going to hold that with a huge grain of salt. But this loss to the Falcons, as we talked about going this week, is absolutely brutal for the Bucs. It completely jeopardizes their chance of winning the South, in my opinion. And if you don't win the South in that division, you're not making the playoffs.
Probably not making the playoffs. Jeremy, I reject your comment that I see on there. Is it a sinking ship in Tampa? That's fucked up. It's not. We just got some injuries. Okay.
Well, technically, I will take the bullet for that because on the notes it says Bucs season in jeopardy after this loss. Well, so I'll take the bullet there, Jay.
Okay, that's fine, but it doesn't mean that the ship is sinking. Like, it doesn't mean like we're.
Well, you just took a cannonball to the side, so yes, you are taking on water.
Unfortunate loss. And you had some opportunities there. How do we not have pylon cameras at every single goal line in an NFL game?
You do. They just didn't show it. There's an absolute goal line cam on that.
They said that they did not have a goal line camera. The only camera that they had was the first down camera that was there, and that's why they didn't have the clear angle.
I will tell you this, though. To me, it still looked like the ball crossed.
I'll show you. I'll send some stuff to you. I have like 10 angles where it doesn't cross at all, and it's definitely bobbling before it gets in
there.
You
have 10 angles that it doesn't cross. Is there anyone that looks like it might have crossed?
I mean, I think in real time it looked like it crossed.
Okay,
for sure. And I think from their angle, I don't want to say that it was like clear and obvious, but I do think that there was. It was definitely indisputable, or not. It was definitely disputable, not indisputable from their angle. So I'm going to say that, but I just don't understand how you don't have a camera angle that's right there as well too.
That's a great point. I mean,
like it just boggles my mind. Especially in 2024, the year of our Lord, like we don't have a camera angle that's right there in NFL football. Seems absolutely egregious to me. Winfield, listen, did this last year against him. I don't know if you remember the game last year at all, but Desmond Ridder going in for a touchdown. Anton Winfield Jr. knocks the ball away, goes through the end zone. Just very unfortunate because it was a huge play. We're up 14-7 at this point, right? If that ball,
the more I watch it though, from
balls out. Balls out.
I mean, but it was National Tight End Day. I mean, you're gonna get that call, right?
He already had one. Cool, perfect. You already had a touchdown. That was his second touchdown of the day. That was just overkill at that point. Obviously, it's a big play because then you have a chance to come back, make it 21-7. Falcons are in catch-up mode. The problem is we can't guard Darnell Mooney. Our back end has not looked great. Merriweather got cooked multiple times. Jamel Dean going to the IR. I know a bunch of fans were like, "Oh, thank God, he's been terrible." Like, no, that's not. Thank God, he's your number one cornerback on your team for a reason, you idiots. And also, I see a lot of people
has been a little suspect this
year. There's been a lot of people saying that this is on Baker Mayfield, and Baker has been bad this year. And I'm like, wow, what a fucking take, you idiots.
This is why I had to leave most of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers chat.
People want to fire Todd Bowles right now and promote Liam Cohen to head coach and just have him there as head coach and see what you have for the rest of the year, because going forward, they say Todd Bowles won't be anywhere near this team. So there's all kinds of wild things going on in Bucks world. Now, do I want to say that the season is over? No. Is it about to get really freaking tough, though? Yeah, because now you back up into Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City on Monday Night Football, and then you're going to parlay that in a few weeks into playing the San Francisco 49ers. We actually get to play them here finally for the first time in 5 years after we've traveled to San Francisco for 4 years in a row. But we finally get to play them here, so maybe it'll be a home game, and we'll see what happens. But, yeah.
That 7.5 is going to look a little shaky.
Like I said, I still have the 2 games against the Panthers, and I still have a game against the Aints. And then
that's 3. That's 7.
Yeah, there's got to be another one in there somewhere. So, but you're right.
Damn it, Vegas.
This essentially ends the Bucks' hope for winning the division, unless you get an upset by Carolina to Atlanta, or if you get upset by San Francisco. And even then, I believe still that would only be 2 losses for them because they already beat both of them one time. And then now you're talking about they were 0-2. So I think it essentially ends the division chances for the Bucks in week 8, which is absolutely insane. That's the way that it plays out.
You are 1 game behind the Falcons, but obviously
they'll have the tiebreaker.
Right. But have you played them once or twice?
Twice.
You lost to them both times.
We lost to them on Thursday Night Football after dominating the entire game. Kirk Cousins throws for 500 yards. And
I will say this, though. I mean, the Falcons have definitely shown that they are not bulletproof by any means, and they're going into the Cowboys this week, followed by an Aints team that should
Derek
be fully
Carr
healthy.
Come back.
Should be fully healthy about that. Still no Shaheed. Obviously, he's going to be out for the season, but I think that, definitely Derek Carr behind the helm helps that team. What a fall from grace for the New Orleans Saints after the way that they came out. Then they go to the Broncos, which have looked really pretty good. Chargers, Vikings, Raiders, Giants, Commanders. I mean, I definitely think that there's definitely a path there. But to your point, you're gonna need some help. You're definitely gonna need some help.
Buck says Bucks are a Michael Myers candidate. They are not dead.
Okay.
Well, listen, the one thing that I will hold on to is that Godwin did say if they make the playoffs, there's an outside chance it'll be back. So,
okay. I think that's pretty ballsy considering he doesn't have a contract for next year. But I guess maybe you have to go. I don't know.
Do you think? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, though, is if you're him, right? Do you want to come back and show that you're healthy before before you hit the open market? Because now this is
the second big injury.
This is the second big injury in 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think he'll end up being a Buck again. Honestly, I think they'll end up re-signing unless somebody just throws an absolute bag at him in the open market. But I think this injury is going to solidify him being a Buccaneer long term, and him and Mike Evans being one of the greatest 1-2 combos in the history of the NFL.
Hard to argue, especially with Baker, the way he's slinging the ball. I mean, to the people that are saying that Baker Mayfield is the problem, I mean, you obviously just don't watch football.
Crazy.
Tell me all the time. But yeah, so
What did I say that about? What was the last thing I said that about, though?
Trevor Lawrence being a bust.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't watch football. Well, let's get this shit over with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get this over with right now, because obviously something happened over here.
So here you go. He's gotten hit throughout the rest
This
of
is the last time I see it. I really hope.
Comes down to one last play. Daniels backing up. He's just going to have to
hold.
Let one fly. Getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line.
What is 53
now
doing?
You can step into it.
Yeah, back
Here
up, bro.
The Hail Mary with the game on the line.
Tyreek Stevenson, you bitch. So,
it's a miracle.
Yeah, let's just freeze it right there. Obviously, I have a lot of issues with this game in general, and not just this play. And we this game was pitted obviously as the number 1 quarterback versus the number 2 quarterback. And as our loose cannon of a friend, Ian, pointed out that, he is obviously the better quarterback. Absolutely not. You know what this game told me? That Jaden Daniels has a better coaching staff than the Chicago Bears. Because let me tell you this, Shane Waldron, you come out of a bye week with a week and a half or 2 weeks, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to prepare for the Washington Commanders, and you look like absolute dog shit in your play calling once again. And Matt Eberflus, what are you doing? First of all, you give them 5 seconds to go. You give them an extra 15 yards. First, you push them back. Then you try to call them up. And then he has the balls in the presser to say those 15 yards didn't matter. Well, let me tell you this, Mr. Eberflus. With the 15 yards you gave him, he still couldn't get the ball to the end zone. You're a fucking idiot. Jalen Johnson coming out saying that the defense was never set for this play. You got Tyreek Stevenson chirping Washington fans. He said he wasn't. He was cheering with Bears fans. Guess whose assignment 85 was? Anybody want to take a wild guess? Anybody?
Tyreek Stevenson.
That was Tyreek Stevenson's assignment. Who comes out and apologizes. I'm sorry. I don't want your fucking apologies, because you know what you just did? You just knocked the Bears out of the playoffs. Jeff hits his side button. It's okay. We're still going. You just knocked yourself out of the playoffs. You knocked your team out of the playoffs. And guess what? You don't even fucking deserve to be there anyway. Now, with all of that being said, I've kept that in since Sunday. It felt pretty good to get it out there in the open. I thought that the Chicago Bears had an absolute dismal game plan for this team. Shane Waldron is an absolute terrible offensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus is probably one of the worst head coaches on the field at the moment. Great defensive coordinator. Absolute garbage head coach. Only thing that this game showed me is that the Washington Commanders got it right by hiring Cliff Kingsbury. And is it not Dan Campbell? Who's their coach that they got from Dallas?
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. I knew it was
Medicine
Dan.
Man.
That they got their hires right. That is the only thing that this shows me. The fact that you walk up, I really just can't believe it. And the fact that the defense is the one that lost this game to me is just wild, especially for the way that they did play. They held Jaden Daniels in check. They really froze him out of the red zone. They scored the first touchdown in the game with like 20 seconds to go, right? 26 seconds to go. You're kicking off the ball, and they have to have a touchdown, and you lose the game. I'm done with it. I'm done. I had no expectations for playoffs going into this. I obviously said that I don't expect Caleb Williams to come out and look like a rock star. However, he is not being coached properly. Once again, it's the same old shit in Chicago. It's the same revolving door. It's the same circle every freaking year. I'm absolutely tired of it. Before I get into my other rant, go ahead, lay it on me, Jeffrey.
I think there's more positives than negatives to take away from this game, personally. Does it suck? Does it sting? Yeah, it really sucks, dude. But But I thought the moxie that you showed on that last drive to punch one in, the way that the entire team reacted together on punching that touchdown in, when you thought that you had the game won, they looked like
Stop right there. Stop right there. You can text Bianca about this. After we scored, I said, there's 26 seconds on the clock. This game is far from over.
I did say that to myself as well. I said this game is not over whatsoever. That's why I didn't turn it off. But I liked the way that you guys looked as a unit, as a team. I thought there's definitely things to take away
Let me
from
tell you,
that.
you liked the way we looked on one drive, correct?
I think the last 2 drives for me. I thought Caleb finally figured something out. I don't know how, because I thought the Bears would win this game easily, because I just don't think Washington's defense is very good.
They're not, but look at the play calling.
We put up 41. The Bucs put up 41 on them and didn't really even do anything that crazy week 1. And you've seen them struggle a little bit here and there as well. So I didn't think they were that good, but they've obviously
they're not.
They started to improve though. Look at their past few games, right? Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
They played the Panthers the week before. They gave up 30 points to the Ravens, 14 to the Browns, 14 to the Cardinals, 33 to the Bengals, 18 to the Giants, 37 to the Bucs. I mean, this just shows you, right? they can
the
be
Bucs game was
torched.
41-14.
The Bucs game was 37-20, week 1. This just shows you, though, that they can be beat. But I'm telling you, and this is to your point, I've got all this film, right? I mean, we're talking about week 8. You've got 7 weeks of film on this, guys. On you can see the Bengals put up points, the Bucs put up points, the Ravens put up points. What's working, what's not. And so instead, the Washington Commanders said, you know what happens when we blitz Caleb Williams and put pressure on Caleb Williams? Their receivers can't create separation in the plays that they need multiple seconds to complete. So we're not going to give them the time. And guess what? Shane Waldron is too stupid to change anything to stop us. And guess what? They nailed it. You're running the ball right down their throats. We're going to stop running the ball right now. We're going to work on the pass game. I tell you, man, I just can't take it anymore. I really cannot take it anymore.
I will say this about the Washington Commanders, is that this 6-2 start has been incredible. Things are going to get a lot tougher going forward from here. Just looking at their schedule,
Same as the Bears
forward, you have Atlanta. There's Philly in there. You do have 2 games against Dallas as well too. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll get a little bit tougher for them. I can see them coming back down to earth, but they're a good football team right now. And Jaden Daniels has them playing very, very well. We're not going to say one person is better than the other when it comes to quarterback, because we're talking about an 8-game sample size in a rookie year. And I'm just not going to do that, because I have more wits about me than that. So,
I mean, if you want to look at a stat line, sure, absolutely. But I'm going to tell you once again that Cliff Kingsbury is light years ahead of Shane Waldron. Light years. And this Bears defense is good. Obviously, no Kyler Gordon or Jaquan Brisker did not help this defense. And honestly, if Tyreek Stevenson has his head up his ass the entire game, because if you remember, he was also chirping against Terry McLaurin, which he got a penalty on, and he kept chirping throughout the game. There was obviously heated. So he can tell me he was celebrating with Bears fans all you want. No, you were talking shit. And even if you weren't talking shit, you cost your team the game, you cost your team the momentum, and you probably cost your team the season. And another fun fact, Matt Eberflus has never won on the road. Kickball legend. If you want to double check that fact for me, I don't think he has ever won on the road.
London.
That was a Bears home game.
That's not really a home game, though.
It's still our home game. It's what it says on there. He has not on a Sunday home game. He has never won an away. I'm sorry, an away game has never won.
I do think that the Tyreek Stevenson thing is a really bad look for the coaching staff and for everybody.
It's just an undisciplined team. I think the worst one for me was Jalen Johnson coming out and saying we needed to take a timeout there. It was obvious we didn't know the assignments. It was broke down. We needed a timeout. You had 2 or 3 timeouts. I don't know. They still had a shit ton of timeouts. You can't take them with you. So what's the point?
I didn't understand the point? End of game process there. a lot for what was going on in terms of time management as well too. I thought the Bears could have done a better job with that. But
Well, I
listen,
mean, when it comes down to
hindsight's
score, you
always
got to take the
20/20,
score
right?
when you can score because, obviously touchdowns were at a premium. They didn't do it. However, when you got Tony Romo sitting up there saying, if I'm the Commanders with 5 seconds, I'm getting 15 more yards because I can't get it to the end zone there. This is a goddamn broadcaster
Yeah.
that
Tony
is
Romo
watching the game.
also said maybe they should put in Marcus Mariota to throw this ball as well too. So
Correct.
let's take that with a grain of salt. Like,
Well, I'm not taking it with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, the ball landed about the 4-yard line, right? And
Well.
he put everything he had into it. If you don't give him those 15 yards,
he threw it 60 in the air. I mean, right?
okay, I'm giving it to you, but okay. So 60 yards in the air is obviously a great throw. Could he have thrown it 75? Doubtful. But again, this is Matt Eberflus. He just, this is what I feel like he is. I feel like he's the older guy that's trying to be hip to the generation and connect with the players to be the cool coach. No, this team needs a Mike Tomlin. And whatever you want to say about mediocre Mike, when he gets in that room, he demands respect. And he makes sure that your players are doing what it takes to succeed. This is a loosey-goosey locker room. This is a, hey, do whatever you want. And this is what you get when you put it on the field. Fire everybody. I'm ready to fire everyone again. And then that comes out that Ben Johnson, Chicago was his number one choice.
Real quick, just last thought that I always have on these Hail Marys, bring 5 or 4 instead of bringing 3 every single time. Get a little bit of pressure where you're not giving the guy 15 seconds to throw the ball. You're setting yourself up for failure because so many things can happen down there. Get a sack, call it a day.
4,
and
but
then
as I pointed out, right, you had the 3 up there. They were getting 3 double teams.
He's running spy for whatever reason.
For what? You're 15 yards out. What are you afraid he's going to run the ball 60, 70 yards?
I don't know.
Again, bad coaching, not knowing your assignments. What do I do? Hey, look at this. My 3 guys took up all 6 linemen because he was getting double teamed. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get in there now. So that way, one of my guys gets a one-on-one, and maybe we can beat him. And yes, there was a holding call at the end, but they never call those on Hail Marys.
No.
For whatever reason, the rule book goes out the window, just like people are getting mugged down in the streets down at the 5-yard line. They just don't call those things. So Bears fans, get over that. It was poor coaching, poor execution, and that is what cost them the game. Matt Eberflus, you are a great defensive coordinator. You are a shit head coach. You command zero respect. And if you are there next year, I think it's still going to be a miracle. And yes, as I was just saying, Ben Johnson, the rumors have come out. I don't know if they've been confirmed or whatever, but Ben Johnson was definitely in the mix for the Chicago. He was apparently waiting for that job to open. Please let it open up. My best scenario would be, obviously, I still think Matt Eberflus is a great defensive coordinator. I really do. The things that he did when he took over the defense from last year to this year, absolute great defensive coordinator. That was right there when a head coach should have called a timeout, got your group ready for the last play. I don't care if you think you're giving them extra time to set up. Don't really care. The clock was stopped. Call the timeout. Make sure that you're 100% ready for this last play. Please, for the love of God, I would like to see Eberflus stay, to be honest with you.
He's not going to stay. That'll never happen because you're going to have a divided locker room. But I will tell you your perfect scenario that you have next year. Jeremy, are you ready for this?
Well, obviously Ben Johnson's going to be number 1. Who's going to be?
You have Ben
Robert Saleh?
Nope. Todd Bowles.
I don't think Todd Bowles gets fired. I really don't. I mean,
I think they move on because I think it becomes the same thing as a Dirk Cutter situation where you're worried that a guy is going to take a head coaching job somewhere at Liam Cohen, and you're worried that you're going to miss out. And offensive coaches are the guys who are running the league right now, and I think that the Bucs are going to panic like they always do. The reason they fired Lovie Smith back in the day because they didn't want Jameis Winston to have a learned new system. You already have the familiarity. Baker already knows the system. You're already good to go. Blah blah blah. I think they'll keep Liam Cohen. I think Todd Bowles moves on. I think he'd be a perfect fit in Chicago.
I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not going to go against it. I think,
especially for the way the Bulls run this defense, right? A lot of single coverage on the outside and bring exotic pressures everywhere. I think that's kind of what you're missing right now. You guys play a lot of zone. You guys have the corners to be able to play that system.
I'd love to see Rex Ryan as my defensive coordinator as well. I just want somebody with some fire to hold them accountable. Is that too much to ask? I mean, obviously, guys making $20, $30 million a year can't hold themselves accountable. So can I pay somebody $8 million a year to hold them accountable in some fashion, shape, or form? But to your point, I do believe they're all gone, in my opinion. Ryan Poles, I mean, I'm sorry, bro, but you're on the hot seat as well. You put together a great roster, and you stuck with this coach. You got rid of your offensive coordinator, who obviously he's been garbage out there as well, which that always amazes me when somebody picks up somebody else's garbage and expects it not to stink in his city. But that's what we do with coaches in the NFL. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on from everything. It's hockey season. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's get into some Thursday night football. I'll tell you, this was a great game. The Minnesota Vikings 20, Rams 30. I absolutely loved the Rams here. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back. They looked like a completely different team. They looked like a contender. And, of course, shortly after the game, Matt Stafford's off the block. Thank you, baby 6-ounce Jesus, because if he would have went to the Minnesota Vikings, no.
How many pounds? How many pounds in 6 ounces?
6 pounds, 8 ounces.
Okay,
little baby Jesus.
Cool. Like a 6-ounce baby. That's
6 pound. I mean, there was no way that
you can even abort that in Florida.
I wanted this game more for the Rams than probably the Rams did, because no, I did not want to see Matt Stafford in purple Minnesota Vikings colors. Could you imagine that? No, please don't. Cooper Kupp possibly going to the Chiefs. Let's just say that the universe actually corrected itself for once. The Rams absolutely rolled. McVay, you are a genius, dude. You are just an absolute genius, coach. Kudos to the Rams, man. And just kudos to the Rams for getting you, keeping you. I'll tell you, I like the Rams' opportunity to make a run here. 100%.
Listen, we talked about this too. We said that I don't really understand the rumors of everybody getting traded, because you were still so viable in that division right now.
Well, I think if they lost this game, it was kind of
Sure. Okay. But I didn't really see them losing this game to the Vikings, especially with everybody there, and especially knowing that their careers are on the line. I do think that going forward, let's see what their schedule looks like. If we may just pivot real quick. Are they on a bye this week, or are they playing this week? They play Seattle this week, so a huge game this week, division-wise. Be very important. And then, listen, I
think the Dolphins, Patriots,
yes,
Eagles, Saints, Bills, 49ers, Jets. There's definitely winnable games in there.
That's as tough as it gets, but you're right. There are winnable games in there as well too. I do think that if you're a fantasy manager, you are very excited and happy. You can start all your Rams with confidence. They are not giving up. Kyron Williams definitely blessing your leagues right now, Justice. Congratulations on that. I'm glad you're in first place. Vikings, we got some questions. Now, listen, TJ Hawkinson being back this week, I think will help out a lot. I think
give him that emergency blanket.
And if you weigh that he was last year, obviously that's with a different quarterback and different system. But even when Kirk Cousins got hurt, he was super viable as a tight end, one of the best tight ends in the league. It's been about 2 weeks that he's been rumored to be able to come back, and he hasn't yet. So I think that now that they're allowing him to come back, you'll see him jump right into it this week. They gave him that extra little couple days off by not playing him on Thursday night. Love that. Love the future there. And Flores still has that defense playing great. So Sam Darnold,
I think what they're, to your point,
steady Eddie.
Absolutely. With the point that the Vikings had to start, there was no reason to rush him back. And even with these losses, they're still right in the mix. I mean, the Vikings, like you said, still have a few questions, but definitely going into divisional play, the NFC North is going to devour itself. So we'll see what happens over there.
Right.
The Bucs.
Listen, Love might miss a few weeks, so we'll see what happens with that as well too. That's a huge part of that division.
Such a shame. Even though I'll tell you, Malik Willis looked really good behind the helm of that Packers. Yeah. I think once again that's just a tribute to Matt LaFleur. I mean, he's one of the better coaches out there, and as you pointed out, once he got rid of the Aaron Rodgers hair cuff, he's done nothing but win and flourish and make his quarterback look great.
It's funny, we talk about fantasy trades, and I was looking at looked at my action that I've done this year on the waiver wire, and I looked at it and I go, oh, okay. So all three of the guys that I traded for are all questionable: Jordan Love, Alan Lazard, and then Deebo Samuel. And then now he's got Amari Cooper, Josh Allen, and whoever the other person was that was in there as well too. Just insane.
Fantasy is a wild ride, my friend.
Sucks.
A wild ride of roller coaster of emotions. When you're winning, you are at the highest of highs, and when you're not, it is the lowest of lows.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's fantasy football, man. You know,
Absolutely.
You can only control your controllables, you know.
Speaking of unfortunate, if you are Ravens fans, the Ravens go into Cleveland and lose to the Jameis Winston-led Browns 24-29. Yep. The Ravens, let's pause everybody real quick. The Ravens are still the better team here, guys. Everybody relax here. We actually called this on the other show. We love the Browns in this situation with Jameis Winston coming in. I feel like this was just one of those things when you're the Baltimore Ravens and you're trying to prepare for this. You had no idea what to prepare for. You had no idea what kind of offense was going to look like against Jameis Winston. And he absolutely just threw all over you. The defense stepped up. I think that this just pumped a new life into the Browns team, a dead team, a team that was ready to unload pieces. I look forward to see what's going to happen over here. Like I said, though, when you switch from Deshaun Watson that can't move the ball 5 yards to Jameis Winston that will literally throw it 30 yards into triple coverage, hoping for a tip and a catch. These you're going to get these kind of games. Don't panic, Ravens fans. You got help on the way. You have traded for Deontay Johnson, which I think would be a huge red zone target for you. The rich just get a little bit richer there. Jeff, your thoughts on the Ravens?
Jameis is the gift that keeps on giving. I will say that. If you listen to his pregame speeches he was giving about, we play for the names on our back and the decals on our helmet. However, there's no decals on our helmet, so whatever. We're the Browns. Let's go. And that was the rah-rah speech. Then after the game, he go ahead and he quotes Eminem, saying that he's got one of his favorite one of his favorite rappers comes from Detroit, which is
your chance to blow
over there. And yeah, you only get one shot. And which this is Jameis's third shot, which is hilarious in itself. So
I mean, why do I find so many comparisons between Anthony Richardson and Jameis Winston?
Well, I mean, I think there's so many comparisons you can draw between so many people, right? Like, look at Geno Smith, okay, who bounced around from a few teams, was obviously not a first pick, but a higher draft.
Well, he was projected definitely be a first round, and they were shocked when he fell.
And then finally finds his footing in Seattle, with Dave Canales, who does a really good job with older quarterbacks, not so with younger quarterbacks. And then the rest of the proof is in the pudding. There are a couple of examples of quarterbacks. Is
that a Bryce Young dig?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
He also didn't do well with Drew Lock, right? Like Drew Lock should have been a decent quarterback, and nobody's ever just not been able to develop him. I do think he might give the Giants a better option to win at some points than Daniel Jones. So yeah, I think this is kind of a nice little resurgence for Jameis. The thing we know about Jameis is that there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be ebbs and flows, highs and lows. And it'll be an interesting game this week. I think this week, this game will tell a lot about the Jameis Winston that we'll see the rest of the year. But I said this, right? It's the same thing. Stefanski is going to change the whole offense, and it's going to be the exact same thing they did last year with Flacco. Push the ball down the field. You're going to have intermediates open up. Now you got Nick Chubb coming back, pretty much, about to have 2 games under his belt and be fully healthy again. I just think that this is it's going to start to build a little bit. They're going to start to be a little bit more relevant. They're going to go on a little bit of a run here.
Even if they do, they are 2-6. I mean,
I don't think they're going to win 8 in a row, but
I mean, is this just an audition for Jameis to possibly keep the job?
Above my pay grade. I don't know how long an Achilles takes to come back if you're not Aaron Rodgers, but
let me tell you who's taking a back seat to their job right now, and that is Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts, who lose to the Texans 20-23 in a while. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just saw this note in our private chat.
Oh yeah, and in a wild move, takes himself out of the game. Here's what he had to say afterwards at the press conference. This guy, dude.
Anthony, can you explain just you subbing out? Were you hurt? Were you injured? Were you tired?
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there. What I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play. So I just, just told Sam I just needed a break right there.
Anthony, can you explain just
what does he think this is? Florida? You can't sub out in the NFL. What are you doing? You don't think your linemen are just as tired? What about the receivers that are running 40-yard routes and getting airmailed every other throw? Or the ones that are running 15-yard routes on cuts and getting the ball thrown at their feet? You don't think that they're tired? You make 10-yard run and you're gassed. Oh boy. Well, obviously the internet and sports places have just gone wild with this, right? And Pat McAfee obviously has chimed in as the resident, I guess you want to call it, celebrity Colts fan, say that obviously he's never seen anything like this. And in subsequent and consequential move, the Colts have benched Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco for the foreseeable future. And this was a move that people were already calling into question beforehand. Now, I'll tell you this. If you want to win now, yes, this is the move that you need to make. If you're playing for the long term, I don't know. But I will say this, Joe Flacco has proven himself one of the league veterans. He's still doing it. He did it with the Browns. He did it in the Colts when he comes in here. I think this could be a great opportunity for Anthony Richardson, because let me tell you this, my friend, your career in the NFL is dwindling. And the fact that you're clicking that button right now while I'm not even looking at you is really pissing me off. Injustice, I'll get to you and your Miami Heat in a minute. So please hold on. Your career is borderline right now. You're in your second year. You hurt yourself the first year. You've shown no progression. Now, again, this is a long-term game. Take a seat back. Take a chill pill. Get yourself collected and learn from this man. Because if you learn from this man, you might still be successful in this league. But just like what I do in day trading and all this stuff, if you keep doing what you're doing and it doesn't work, it's not going to work all of a sudden. You need to make changes. And I think that's what the Indianapolis Colts did, and I don't blame them one bit.
Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That being said, when I mentioned quarterbacks that we feel like have been busts and then have proven to a couple years later come out and play a lot better. I love Shane Steichen, and I think this is a terrible decision. I would have taken the C off of Anthony Richardson's chest. I have no problem doing that and placing it on somebody else's. But making a decision to, and I understand, listen, there's like, Anthony Richardson is historically the worst passing quarterback of all time through however many passes. He's up there with guys like, Tim Tebow and Jamarcus Russell, Akili Smith. I'm just reading off the list. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay? These are the names on the list.
Can we get banned off YouTube for brandishing a weapon?
Probably.
Jeremy, maybe a little quick search of that, please.
Probably depends on the weapon too.
Glock 17.
Yes. Absolutely.
Hollow points.
Okay.
Filled. One in the chamber.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
yeah, I'll mess around. They're dying.
Listen, I think it's a terrible decision. I would, like I said, take the C off of his chest. If there's certain series that you want to go play Flacco, okay. But for you to just completely bail on this kid right now, I think is terrible. It's terrible for his mindset. I can't imagine his mindset that he's going through right now. Did he make a bad decision? Yes, absolutely. Did Brian Flores come out and say that the play that he took himself out after, any quarterback in the NFL should have taken a playoff after that? Absolutely. Should he have more media training and not say that shit out loud? Absolutely. Should he call audible if they call a play and run the ball no matter what the very next play? Absolutely. These are all things that should happen, but these are all conversations that should be happening with your coaching staff for you to coach this kid up. Now that you've just bailed on him, he's ruined basically in Indy. And yes,
I don't agree with that.
I understand he can't throw a 5-yard out. He's really good at throwing a 70-yard deep ball down the middle of the field, but play to his strengths. Figure it out, Shane. You've been a really, really, really good coach through the past few years in Indianapolis. This is just throwing me for a loop. I don't understand it.
I just think it's more of the fact of they don't want to go through the losses, because this is like, to your point.
They're going to lose this week to the Vikings on Sunday Night Football.
You never know.
So
I don't think it's a bad move. I think, what we've talked about this numerous times about the expectations of these quarterbacks coming into the league and just putting them out there and starting. Well, you put him out the first year, he hurt himself for the rest of the year. He's already hurt himself once again this year because he doesn't know how to put himself into situations to not get hurt. He is, to your point, historically one of the worst passers of the football. And when we talked about Anthony Richardson and his draft and his stock, we said that he had all the talents in the world, but he needed to be developed. To me, that's a guy that doesn't start week one of his first year. That's a guy that sits behind a Flacco and gets developed for a year
Yeah.
and then comes in. So to your point, I think the Colts got it wrong from the beginning because we knew that he was just raw talent. We saw it at Florida. We saw it at Florida where he couldn't hit open people. We saw it at Florida where he missed it, but we also saw that explosiveness that made him so creative and that skyrocketed his draft stock. He has to be coached. He has to be coddled, and he has to be told exactly what to do. And he has to be able to see it. One of the craziest things that I heard of, and I don't know if it was CJ Stroud or if it was Jaden Daniels, but one of them puts on a VR headset.
Jaden Daniels. He's been doing it since college.
Yeah, and then he actually speeds it up to where it's actually faster than it is in the normal play, and that's how he practices. That's wild to me, man. I think that's what he needs. He needs to be in a simulated environment until he gets his skills honed and then come out and play. Because, and not for nothing, but I'm sure there's people on the Indianapolis Colts that are in contract years that need touches, that need to have a good performance, as a quarterback. While we talk about they are the most, obviously highest paid and they have the most impact, you have the entire team on your back as far as contracts, all of that stuff. So if you're playing at a level that is absolute dog's ass, guess what? Your contract players are absolutely not going to be rewarded. I still think this is a good idea. I think it's the same thing that you saw in Carolina with Bryce Young. Let's set him back a little bit. Let's give him some time to develop, and then we'll see what we got.
I'm trying to find this stat. First of all, real quick, YouTube also doesn't allow a live stream that shows someone holding, handling, or transporting a firearm. So don't do that. Also, we talk about these quarterbacks and we talk about the digging deeper into the numbers. And there was a stat that I saw, and I'm trying to look it up on Twitter, but there's too many trolls who are like the end of the debate of Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels is now officially over because they're idiots. There was a stat that I saw about basically who locking on going to your first read. Okay. And Jaden Daniels is in terms of throwing to your first read in them getting targets is in the same likes of Daniel Jones, of basically a bottom 4 quarterback in the NFL, right? And then you have the other side of Caleb Williams, who is in the top 4 of progressing through reads in the entire NFL. So there are more nuanced stats when it comes to just one game and one guy throwing for 300 something yards and one guy, maybe not looking the best. The fact of the matter is that Jaden Daniels is staring down his number 1 read and throwing to him. The fact of the matter is that Caleb Williams is going through his progression. Once Caleb gets a better O-line and is able to have time and make it through those progressions, then you're going to see him flourish.
I don't know how we got back onto this debate again, but I will tell you this because
we were talking about AR and about
a good
being
offensive coordinator
and stuff like that. And a
good offensive coordinator knows how to overcome a poor O-line.
For sure.
That's it. I mean, as much as I hate screens and things of that nature, that's a bad O-line buster, right? There was none of it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let's get on to some more shit football. The Jets, Patriots, 22-26. The Jets just suck. You guys suck. You guys knocked me out of my Survivor. I had 2 entries. I had to pick 4 teams this week. 4 teams. And I had to get a little spicy because, you know what? I had to get rid of some of the shit teams. You're playing one of the worst teams in football. And I'll tell you right now, the New York Jets and whoever, Woody, you made a poor decision in getting rid of Robert Saleh. Because let me tell you this. You got rid of Robert Saleh and your defense has went to shit. Absolute shit. 22-25. Y'all suck. That's all. I mean, y'all suck.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rodgers is the problem personally, but he just doesn't look the same. But they're a bad football team. They're not going anywhere this year. Sucks to be a Jets fan.
You guys suck. You know who else sucks? But
flying to a mountain. Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
Headlines are wild today. And now they catch, obviously, the New York football. The Jets catch the Houston Texans on a short week going into Thursday Night Football. So
you want to hear something wild about that? Is that, we don't really go. I mean, we look at this. We look at all things. but OddsShark has the Jets winning this game.
Yeah, they have Houston -1, is where Houston opened
2.
up, and the spread has gone to +2 on Houston. So,
Well, Houston's backpedal a little bit. We'll get into that one. Cardinals going to Miami. Tua's return. Lose on a last-second field goal. Shocker. Prevents nothing. I'll tell you, Arizona's sneaky good with that little trying to contain baby arms. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're like one of those. I think it's on what is it? Big Cats, the frisky and fun teams.
yeah, I'll tell you this. Was it Chris Greer? Is that the GM for the Dolphins? Just how did you fuck this up, dude? You know, you had I mean, it boggles my mind. But I'm sure he's gone after this year as well too. Looks like the Dolphins will kind of hit a reset button here. I don't know how you do it. I don't know if Tyreek gets. Do you think Tyreek gets moved before the deadline? They're gonna need draft capital.
I don't think he wants to get moved, but yeah,
It doesn't matter. I mean, they've committed to Tua. I mean, he had to get a new contract done before the season. I mean, you got Waddle out there. There's a lot of moving parts of this team. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess right now, and I don't know what's going on in Miami. So bad call by me to start the year.
Maybe it's the coach. I don't know. I mean, usually that's the first one to get pointed at, right?
I don't get it.
Panthers going to Denver, 14-28 Broncos. The earlier reason I brought this up is the Broncos are looking sneaky good.
Yeah, the Panthers are terrible.
They haven't played a whole lot of teams, but I mean, they're 5-2.
Okay, they're actually 5-3. But we'll see what happens this week when they play the Baltimore Ravens. What? I'm just saying. They got Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons, Raiders, Browns, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs to end the year. So
got to get a little tested.
Wins are against the Bucks, the Raiders, the Saints, and the Panthers. And that Saints game, by the way, was with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. So I don't see anything
Spencer
here.
Rattler.
They lost to the Seahawks, the Steelers, and the Chargers. I don't see anything there that makes me say, whew,
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We're about to
Justice, that sucks, man. Sorry about that, bro.
Jeff isn't one for sympathy on sports things.
Not at all.
Bad things that happen. This is not the place for sympathy.
No, I hate it. Just because it's like, I mean, everybody is going through the same thing, and I
obviously not. Buffington has Buffington had one injury on his team this year.
I don't know.
Buff, have you had one person questionable this year?
The worst thing too is that like Buff is like the team that has had no injuries, and then you go to pick somebody up on the waiver wire that you want, and they're on Buff's
He's got them,
and you're like, can you just come off of somebody?
Dude. Look, I mean, his team, like he's at the point now, right? With his team that he doesn't even know who to start. I mean, that's how stacked this team is. This team, Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, Brian Robinson Jr., Jamar Chase, Zay Flowers, Travis Kelce, Jordan McMillan, Tony Tracy Jr., Chiefs defense, Sam Darnold, Hunter Henry, Xavier Legette, who's now the number 1, Tolbert, Jaylen Warren from the Pittsburgh. He has Williams from Detroit, wide receiver, the Vikings defense, number 2 defense, Nico Collins and Jerome Ford. He's going to have to drop somebody when he gets somebody off that IR.
Jerome Ford will be back this week, I believe. So
yeah, he's got projection for 4.3 points.
He's going to have to figure that out. So Jerome Ford will probably get dropped. And whoever
Buff,
pick him up, so.
Buff, I'm not a greedy man, but maybe some scraps for the rest of us,
He did a good job on getting the Burrow and Chase combo, and obviously Kelce finally caught his first touchdown since like in a regular season game in like 7 games or 8 games, something like that. So yeah, anyway, whatever.
Well, unlike Buff's team, the Dallas Cowboys, that is his team, we can talk shit about. 24-30. The Cowboys are just in full implode mode. I think it's time to completely dismantle this team. You can't afford to bring everybody back anyway. Y'all suck. I think everybody needs to go. Thoughts?
Big game this week against Atlanta. Let's go Cowboys.
I don't think
I-
they win that game.
How are you going to dismantle everything? You just re-signed everybody. There's no way to dismantle.
Micah Parsons up for contract, is he not?
That's one guy. Okay. Everybody else, you just re-signed.
Isn't Diggs up?
I don't know. Do you see Diggs yelling at the reporter after the game?
I did. He's an
Terrible
idiot.
look. God.
You know what that reeks of? That reeks of shit play and not being able to be held accountable. To tell a reporter you don't know football if you think that that's what happened. Bottom line is you missed the play, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you missed the play.
And also, you could just answer the question, right? I understand you're frustrated. I understand it's after the game, but
he came out of the locker room, right?
Came out of the locker room, and then
because of something the reporter said as he was walking in.
Yeah, and then told him to suck his something and something. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm surprised you didn't say go home to your Subaru or something like that, because that's probably what I would have said if I was a multimillionaire still doing, whatever. Hey, enjoy your Subaru McDonald's value meal.
Listen, the Cowboys got real problems. The defense is obviously an issue. McCarthy is obviously an issue. Dak is obviously an issue. It's like they finally decided to, let's just feed CeeDee Lamb the ball the last fourth quarter, and he just ends up going absolutely berserk at the very end. But that was his first 100-yard receiving game of the year. Like, what are we doing here? Like, get the man the ball. Like, stop trying to be too cute. You have no running game whatsoever. You got Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott out there. Obviously, Rico Dowdle was hurt, but the entire game plan coming into this year, I thought, has been egregious. Listen, I think they have a good chance to bounce back against an Atlanta Falcons team that just came off of a big win and thinks that the division is completely wrapped up now on a letdown game.
I think that's a little bit of hope dripped into your coffee there, buddy.
I don't think so at all. I think the Cowboys are coming off of a bad loss against San Francisco. They're reeling a little bit. They're going to play a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and Atlanta is going to be kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, blasé, which we've seen them do before. We saw them do the week before they played the Bucs, right?
They're definitely Jekyll and Hyde. That's for damn sure.
So, I mean,
someone who's not Jekyll and Hyde, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they're
the
just
Giants,
always.
The Giants come in 18-26. Russell Wilson looks great. The Steelers defense looks great. Is it time to start taking the Steelers as a legitimate AFC contender?
No.
Why not?
Because eventually somebody on their defense will get hurt, and they'll have to end up supplementing people. I don't even know if TJ Watt has ever played a full year healthy. I know he has, but it just seems like he always gets hurt at some point in the year. I still don't believe in Russell Wilson. I think he's had a few good games against some inferior competition. The
Giants defense has been pretty stout over the past few weeks. No,
not against the pass. They were okay against the run, which they ended up getting torched by Najee Harris in the first half, but not against the pass. Their DBs are not good at all. They've been doing a decent job of getting pass rush, but with Thibodeau going to the IR, that's a big hurt for them as well too. I think that they will come back down to earth. The Steelers will, for sure, 1,000%. No doubt in my mind. I think the Steelers had multiple opportunities to go get a wide receiver. It's about this receiving core, which is abysmal as well too. You only have George Pickens. They haven't done it yet, so I think that's a factor as well. For me, I would sell my shares of the Steelers right now if I had shares.
Rumors are still, I don't know if they're connected or targeting, but obviously Mike Williams is going to be one of the big receivers now that Deontay Johnson is
a guy who has as many drops as probably Rashad Bateman in the past 2 years. Absolutely.
Probably, but I don't know. I mean, as you said, Aaron Rodgers is throwing to him, so we'll see what happens. Anything to close us out from week 8, Jeffrey? I mean, obviously, I didn't go through all of the games because I don't really care about all the games. Obviously, as a Bears fan, that was a complete nut shot.
Top fun.
I think that crushed a lot of hopes and dreams of this team. I'm very curious to see how they bounce back.
Just a couple thoughts. I think Philly's starting to roll a little bit, obviously, since his defense stinks. Green Bay comes back with a huge win. We'll see what happens with Jordan Love. I thought Jacksonville played well, though, against one of the best teams in the entire NFL. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's going to be tough because they just lost multiple wide receivers. Evan Ingram is going to get most of the target share here. It looks like Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be day-to-day. We'll see what happens there. If you look at the Detroit game, I want to say I don't give a fuck. I think Detroit is still flawed. I think Jameson Williams, there's a lot going on there. I don't care that. Listen, this guy Jared.
What are you talking about right now?
This guy, Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff threw the ball 15 times in this game. Okay. And now this week they're going to go get to go play the Packers, who they might get without Jordan Love. I just think this team is fraudulent. I don't care. I think Aiden Hutchinson is a huge loss for them. I think they're rolling right now on offense, and that's good and all, but they're an O-lineman injury away from being absolutely terrible. So,
well, like you said, that we have reached the season where it is now the NFC is going to start feasting on each other, especially the NFC North, as I'm trying to bring it up real quick here. The Bears don't have it this week, but obviously, as you pointed out, the Lions and Packers are going this week, and that's going to kick it off. Obviously, then we get into actually, the Bears still have that there.
Jameson Williams does have the trifecta. So he just got suspended. I don't know if you saw 4 PEDs, but then also catches the looks to be like he's going to get a gun charge in the city of Detroit as well too. I don't know if he'll even play again this year. I don't know how fast the NFL will work on this. I think that they might drag their feet because it is the Lions. They are darling right now, the NFC, and yada yada yada. But I mean,
what are these guys doing, bro? Like,
I saw somebody say they were like, "Oh man, Jameson Williams, gets in trouble for this is before the gun charge, but it was like gets in trouble for gambling and drugs. One of us." And
it's not illegal to have a gun either, by the way. And I don't know if it was a legal arm, but I guess he fled afterwards.
Yeah,
like, bro, whatever. Well, let's get into a little MLB action. The Los Angeles Dodgers come out with a ripping 3-0 lead against the Yankees. Freddie Freeman is absolutely on fire. And as an Atlanta Brave, I mean, I'm sure that probably tingles you in some certain way. The Yankees did get on the board last night in a big way. I didn't see it. I figured it was going to be a complete sweep. But we have one more game tonight in the Bronx. Can the Yankees pull it out and send it back to LA for a game 6?
Absolutely. And I just want to say this series is not over. And I told Yankee fans that before the game last night. You got to have faith. Look, there would be nothing more fitting than to be down 3-0 and then come back and beat Dave Roberts, who beat you on that Red Sox team, and reverse the jinx that you had there. I think that especially with the way the format is set up too, with 2-3-2, yeah, you lose the first 2, you lose that one, but then you get 2 games to kind of come back and gain momentum back. And listen, Cole's going to go tonight. You get a win here. All of a sudden, now all the pressure is on LA in game 6 because you don't want to go to a game 7, especially in baseball. You never know what's going to happen. We've seen this story play out before. I think there's an opportunity here for the Yankees. Series is not over whatsoever. Obviously, it's a must-win tonight. No shit, Sherlock. But I thought it was encouraging to see their bats come to life after they've been so quiet the entire series. I thought it was really good to see, and I think it's going to be a really, really good game tonight. I think I might go out and watch it. I haven't been out in about 5 days, so I think I might go watch it tonight.
Really?
Yeah, also the Magic play the Bulls. I don't know. 8 o'clock.
Oh, I was getting ready to get into that, buddy. So, I don't know if you saw this or not.
The fan interference?
Interference is a light word. I mean, this might be a New York subway mugging.
It was close to a mugging. Yeah, it was very close to a mugging. I'm going to say this. A lot of people hated it. I didn't really hate it.
Well, I look at it this way. And it's tough to get a
set the
picture.
tone.
I mean,
set the tone. Why am I trying to click on one of these right now so that you can show it?
I don't know. Let me see if I'll get to this to get it bigger. Here we go. Catches the ball, and the guy is pulling his arm. Like, was the guy ejected from the game? I don't think so.
Yes, yeah. They both got ejected from the game.
That guy should not only be ejected, he should never be allowed to be at any baseball game again.
I don't disagree with that. That was a really tough look. But listen, man, there's the most, and listen, everybody on Twitter, the most garbage fans in the world, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
well, they're not
guys
wrong.
It's whatever, man. It's
New York. I mean, you're in the Bronx. It's not whatever.
Do you remember how it used to be? Like when you used to go into the old Yankee Stadium and like that was like an incredible home field advantage that they had. I don't know. I don't really care that much.
I'm not. Yeah, same thing. But it's just like
fly to right by Torres. Points in the corner.
Great catch by Mookie, by the way.
Yeah,
great catch by Mookie to go into.
Does he have room?
Like, that though, right?
Yeah, the
He-
pullback.
The pullback and the way that his arm is on that railing, and you're literally pulling it over, like, bro, that guy should be banned from ever attending any sporting event whatsoever. And then to
It's with
see
the
the look on his
fans.
face,
And
like,
they're going to say
afterwards.
that it's an out
please
and
go.
fan interference. So an out.
He's trying to justify it. Bro, the ball is in his glove.
Oh,
You
I
are
love it.
literally trying to
Out.
rip it
One
out.
gone in this
I
first.
love it. Imagine if Bartman was doing
It's
this
the
instead of
second
just
time
like
that Gleyber
wilting
Torres has
away.
hit a ball that
That's
has
still
ended
too
up in
soon.
fan
That's still
interference
too
in this series. He had the home
Here it
run
is on
turned
slow-mo.
into a double back at
Caught the
Dodger
ball.
Stadium.
Great catch.
And yeah,
In
that
his
says
glove.
that ball in his
He
glove.
pulls
This
the
fan
glove
literally
over it. Look at
tries
Look
his
at this
face.
his
Guido,
glove
dude.
Look
Look
at
at
his
it.
face.
Look
That
at
guy's thinking
look
about
at those
a hot
chins.
dog, a slice
Look
of New
at
York pizza.
that, bro. That guy had 2 heroes today because he knew he was going to the game. And here's the other issue too. How much did you pay for these seats? Right? You like I've seen the prices for some of these. I know people who paid $800-900 for like upper deck here.
It
How
was
much you pay for the-
$1,100 for standing room only to this game.
How
so
much
that
did you
game,
pay?
That was probably like 7,000 to 10,000.
Grand. You lasted a half an inning, homie. Like
But you do
wild.
live down in infamy as fighting for your team.
That's
I-
true. Like
but
this
I mean-
mug will be forever
Bro, look at this. Look at
emboldened.
this. He opens his
They
glove.
pried it open, you know.
Yeah, look at this.
Look at the guy on the
ball
left
out of
right
there.
here. Like, are you
And then
kidding
look
me
at
right
his
now?
face. He's like, I just came into my sock and I loved every minute of it.
Look at the
Like-
ears and that nose on this guy. Holy
Bro, what?
smokes.
Look at this lady. She's
This
like,
lady's on her
what
phone.
the fuck is this?
This lady's on her phone. She doesn't even know what's going on right now.
This
You know?
guy's like, guys, this is how I met your father.
Tony
it-
Fat Fingers.
And then this guy's like, oh, he's in trouble, but I
That
did
is
it.
wild, dude.
Look at
Wild.
his
Look how
face, dude.
proud he is.
Yeah, tell me that he did this nut right there.
A for effort.
Okay.
Well, he won't be watching the
Jeez.
game much longer.
What is this guy wearing? What is this guy wearing?
He's
What
got
is-
the
what-
he's
he
got
have
the
a
glove that
slide
you slide
glove
with.
on?
Yeah, he's got the slide glove on, bro. Leave him alone.
For what? This guy's got a slide glove on. What are we doing? What is this guy doing? Ah, there's a ball coming. Ah! Like,
He's trying to
what
get away
is-
from the scene of the crime. This is the
What?
guy who definitely told. He said, "Yes, sir. It was the gentleman right there. You should have him on camera. I had nothing to do with it whatsoever."
This guy right here is checking your tax returns.
That
That might
right.
be the shadow of death, actually.
That I don't know why, but that guy's nickname, the first name is Slick. It's
That-
Slick
that-
something. Like
that
it's
guy's
like
the shadow of death.
Slick
right
Vinny
there.
or something like that, dude. Like if this is Tony Fat Fingers, that is Slick Vinny right there.
Dude,
know?
that guy is going to snatch your soul. I guarantee it. That guy moved up to his seats 100%. When that guy got kicked out, that guy moved into his seats 100%. And then he just looked at somebody and said, what are you going to do about
Would
it?
have been interesting to see. Would have been interesting to see the way it played out.
And where is this kid getting 10 grand for his ticket? Huh? Huh?
What do you mean? Look at Dad. Dad's got a Rolex on right next to him, right behind him.
Here? That looks like a Swiss watch.
Does
Swatch
not
watch.
look like a Swiss watch.
It's a Swatch watch. Anyway, yeah. Tough look.
Dad's got a Daytona on right behind him. I'm sure they're doing okay,
Mm.
bro. Either that or you Slick Willie's kid, and somehow they weaseled their way into those tickets.
Just a jealousy moment there, guys. Nothing.
Tickets
nothing
fell off of a
moving on.
truck.
So Jeff still gives him a chance. I don't.
I got no problem with it.
It is what it is. And it is such a thing. We do have a little bit of NFL, NCAA football. I know Jeff's season is completely over until the November game. However, the Gators are going up to the Georgia Bulldogs this week.
We got
so-
Notre Dame too, bro. Leave me alone.
which I'm not to you yet.
Oh, we play UNC this week, but I'm saying we have Notre Dame coming up. Go ahead.
You have one game left that the Florida fans care about. All right.
We're Florida
That's it.
State fans, not Florida fans.
You know what I'm trying to say. So the Florida Georgia game, 16.5-point dogs once again. I actually like them to cover this. I know that sounds crazy. Georgia's been very suspect. I actually like them to cover. I don't think that they have a chance of winning. I just like them to cover it. And to your point, Florida State does have Notre Dame. I think that will be another egregious loss for your team. As I said, I really feel like there's
We'll
only
have
one
Notre Dame
game
this
left
week.
for well,
We have
whatever.
North Carolina this week. Notre Dame next
Okay,
week.
you're going to lose to them. You're going to lose to whoever's
We're gonna
next,
beat
and
North
then
Carolina.
you're going to get to the Florida State game. That's
Fun fact, Mac Brown, who used to play running back for Florida State, is 0-11 against Florida State in his career as a coach. Never lost.
So was Duke, Jeff, and they beat you.
Watch out for Duke this week against Miami. That's all I'm gonna say.
Don't try to justify it. So okay,
I'm dead ass serious. I'm dead ass serious. Watch out for
Miami
Duke this week
routes
against Miami.
Duke. Can we get back to normal programming?
What are you talking about?
Are you trying to say that Duke is a good football team and that's why you lost, or are you trying to lift up the Florida State team to say that was a very tough opponent, but we fought our asses off and it was a good game, or are you trying to say, hey, Duke's really, really good?
I'm not saying Duke is really, really good. I'm saying Duke is 6-2 with a decent defense, and their offense is atrocious, but Miami's defense isn't that great either. And Miami's coming off of a huge, I guess, emotional win against Florida State. I don't know why, but it's a rivalry game, so you have that aspect that plays into it as well too. This just seems like a letdown spot at 12 o'clock noon for this Miami team, in my opinion.
And Florida State loses to who this week?
Florida State beats UNC this week.
UNC. Are you favored?
I have no clue.
Come on, Jeffrey.
How do I know? What do I care?
Well, there it is, and that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't
I'm
matter
saying,
to
like,
get
what-
the Florida State game.
Why do I care if we're favored or not? I think we win. I don't know. I don't even know where we are. I can't even find us. We're not on any
Are you even playing?
page.
You're not on ACC. Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Nope. North Carolina is favored in Doak Campbell Stadium by 2.5.
Yeah.
I mean, all jokes aside, Jeffrey, is this
Tickets
the
as low
biggest?
as $14 if you want to get out there,
this
or
the-
$11 if you want to go to the UCF game. They're playing Arizona, so there you go. Still
Is
more
this the-
money to get to the Florida. Go ahead.
Is this the biggest fall from grace from a college program from year to year? I mean, technically,
Probably
you should have been in. You should have been in the playoffs last year.
I don't.
You come out a top 10 team. And you're 1-7. I'm not saying this to shit on you. I'm really not. I'm just I love the confidence sometimes in the Florida State that, like, unlike Florida where the pitchforks are already out firing everybody, firing this. You guys are 1-7, and I see no cause for concern.
I mean, there's going to be huge, massive changes on the staff, but it won't be. Mike Norvell is not going anywhere. But we will. I think. Unfortunately, Ron Dugans will be gone at wide receiver. I think the only person you're really going to contain is going to be. Why'd you put the shades on, Jeremy?
Where are you going?
Bye.
Continue
I think
talking.
the only people who you're going to see get retained will be Pat Surtain, the DB coach, and Alex Papa whatever, special teams coordinator. So I think those are probably the only two you see get retained. A couple of recruits have already started to flip as well. But like Mike Norvell said, we'll have to be aggressive in transfer portal like we always are. And yeah, I mean, I think it's time for some of the young kids to play. If you look at the depth chart and what Florida State's been doing, a lot of youth movement, a lot of younger guys going in. I thought Luke looked okay last week. Obviously, Brock Moon gets them the garbage touchdown, but I thought Luke looked okay in the time that he was in for us as well too. So I think there's hope on the horizon. I just think that.
So let me pose this question to you. And yes, I did hear you. So last year, you arguably undefeated, whatever you were undefeated, actually, right? Until the bowl game. You did lose some players. Come back, ranked 10.
Some players?
Yes. But you also got some of the transfer portal, still to be ranked 10th in the nation. You had high. Hold on.
A lot of players.
You had high expectations coming into this year. All right. So if on paper the team was supposed to perform, and on paper it was supposed to be a top 10 team, and obviously the wheels have come off, where does the blame fall if not Mike Norvell?
I think Mike would take the blame for it. I think that there was obviously an evaluation process that was missed. But I think that the thing about Florida State is that we expected the defensive line and offensive line to be very good this year.
Well, I think it was that the defensive line was supposed to be the best in the
seniors.
nation, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And you pretty much have all seniors on your offensive line. The O-line has been trash. Defensive line has been, I guess, okay in some spots, but it's really tough to just continue to go out and play defense when your offense is just absolutely terrible. You can't run RPO when you have a quarterback back there in DJ Ugalele who can't run. Nobody respects the RPO, right? So nobody's committing to the quarterback. You're not getting the numbers that you're trying to get when it comes to that. So I think that was a big issue as well too, is that we expected DJ to be a little bit more mobile than he was. He was not. Now you made commitments, you paid guys NIL money. How do you move off those guys so quickly? That's a tough aspect for it as well too. Then finally DJ gets hurt. Now you bring guys in. Now you're in the meat and bones of your season, right? You've already lost the games that you probably should have won or had a chance to win that were more winnable, and you have no confidence whatsoever in your team. So I think it's just been a snowball effect a little bit, in my personal opinion. There's been no respite in this schedule so far. If you look at who they've played, right? You got Georgia Tech week 1, you got Boston College week 2. Both those teams were at their peak at that point. They had been playing really well. Castellanos had been playing really well. Then you move on. You get Memphis in week 3. Memphis, who still has a chance to make the college football playoff. You finally win a game against Cal in week 4. Week 5, you come back out. I don't know who we played. We played SMU, who's a top 25 team in the country. You get rolled by SMU. Then you go into I forget who it was after that. And then you lose to Miami. And now you have North Carolina. And now you have to go play Notre Dame after. And then you finally get a respite with like Clemson, right? So then you finally get a respite with Charleston Southern, like right before the Florida game. But like the entirety of the season, like the schedule has not been kind to us whatsoever. And I just think there's been a lot of moving parts, been very unfortunate. Every time we've been put in a situation where something positive can happen, either a drop pass, either a penalty, something happens, a fumble. There's something that has gone wrong every single game at a certain point, and it's just been quicksand the entire time.
I can honestly say I never thought I'd hear the day when I heard a Florida State fan talking about Georgia Tech, Memphis, SMU, and Duke being a gauntlet of a schedule.
I think they're tougher than what we expected, is what I'm saying. And I think
Mike Norvell came out and said that this is the toughest schedule that the college football, to start the season of any college football team. Could be. I mean, obviously, like you said, these teams are overperforming, and maybe that's part of the NIL deal. I will say this, and I think I said on a previous show, as much as I hate the NIL, I will say this, that it seems like college football is on a much more level playing field this year.
Yeah,
it's kind of like NFL any given Saturday now.
And here's the funny thing too, is even like 1 or 2 losses could probably get you into the college football playoff this year. So
I think two a minimum. I think you might even see a 3-teamer. I don't know about that.
You could. I think there's some good games this weekend though. If you look at like Penn State,
Ohio State going into Penn State, absolutely. Really good. That's pretty much the best one so far.
Who's Tennessee played? Tennessee plays somebody too.
I don't know. I was just trying to get it up in my app.
Tennessee plays Kentucky. They should be able to go there. But if you want to see a decent game as well, too, go look at Pitt and SMU, right? Pitt undefeated in the ACC right now, 7-0, and SMU is 7-1. So, that should be a decent one as well, too. Clemson, Louisville. Obviously, you would expect Clemson to win there, considering Louisville's struggles as of late, but you never know. And then, obviously, you got Florida, Georgia, which should be fun, too. So, I'll tell you what, I think Indiana might be the best story of the year, though. With what they're doing, just absolutely incredible.
Love what that coach says. He's like, I win. Google me.
Not wrong.
Hey, he's not wrong. I'll tell you that. All right, my wife left, so now I can connect my phone back to it. Yeah, not much happened, especially even in the SEC. Texas A&M going to South Carolina. That's going to be a good game. Texas A&M is only favored by 2.5. And to your point,
right now, Texas A&M
10.
10. Wow. Okay, so Miami does have a top 10 win. Then against Texas A&M.
I think if you see anybody that has possibly a 3 loss, obviously it's going to come out of the SEC. I just don't. I don't know who that would be. I tell you, the darling Cinderella story is definitely Vanderbilt out of the SEC this year.
For sure.
I love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
Oh, never mind. I thought Miami played Texas A&M this year. They did, and I apologize for that.
It's okay. Apologies.
That was last year.
Colorado, after another big win, 6-2, now bowl ineligible. Do they have a legitimate shot of making the college playoffs?
No.
Okay. And if they do they get creamed?
Yes.
Love it.
Hey,
love it.
Let's see how many of those players play in the bowl game for Deion Sanders this year, and let's see if they call that having a culture problem.
We'll see. The NBA season did tip off, and as Jeffrey said, we do have the Bulls and Magic tonight. The Bulls look absolutely garbage. Magic look great. Paolo Banchero is looking like a stud. stud. I'm actually pulling down his rookie card and going to hold on to it for a while.
Okay.
Even though it is for sale, ThomasMemorabilia.com, 3,500. Paulo Banchero rookie, Pink Money Shimmer, 5 out of 5. Jersey match, number match. Let's get it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I will say the 50 that he had the other night, obviously 37 in the first half. They barely pull away and beat the Pacers. But going off for 50 when you have 37 in the first half and 13 in the second half, you only make one field goal in the second half. Kind of is what it is. All the rest were free throws.
It is,
But the number looks cool, and it was almost a triple double. He was a rebound away from a triple double. So
basketball to me, especially when I put as much effort as my team in, and I feel like the Bulls every year put zero effort into constructing their roster to be able to actually compete in the East. So I just don't get into it. It's hard. I just feel like the Chicago Bulls, once again, they're still riding the coattails of Michael Jordan, the relevancy. They make no moves that are splashes. Now they did go into Milwaukee and beat the Bucks for their home opener. Yippee-dee-da-doo-da. But they've lost every other game since.
I think this will be an interesting game.
Came back from
well
20 down the other night, actually.
They had because Franz Wagner was out. You had Jonathan Isaac was out. You also had Gogo Batadze was out, all for the Magic against the Pacers. So we'll see who plays tonight. But Chicago might be an interesting play tonight at home.
We'll see. In other news, I hope Justice is still here, but he's probably not. The Miami Heat unveiled a statue commemorating Dwayne Wade. Let's see.
Tonight, there's a mystery brewing in South Florida.
I can't believe that. Who is that guy?
Exactly.
It's supposed to be a statue.
Who is that guy?
Asking that question. Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade, but the internet is not quite so sure.
That is not D Wade. That's Shannon Sharp, The Rock. Like, what's that?
Outside the Heat home arena Sunday, the team unveiled this new tribute to the man known as D Wade. While there's plenty of debate,
he approved it.
That's the wild thing. He was there at the sculptors. So you're telling me in this generation where I can go on a website and click AI and I can say, build me a scenic little house on the prairie with the actual actors, and it comes out instantly, that I can't get an exact replica of a face from a picture on a statue? What
Do
are
me
we
a favor,
doing?
real quick. Google image Ed Reed Hall of Fame bust.
Yeah, that one too. There's also one of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, I'm saying Google the Ed Reed one, because whoever makes that, look at that, bro. Whoever makes that, they should be making the statues and the bust for everybody. Like, how is it possible that is a thing right there, but yet that's what we got with Dwayne Wade? And I hate Dwayne Wade. I don't hate him.
Look at this one.
Hate's a very strong word.
Maybe it's the same artist. Is it? Oh wait. Oh, did it not? Oh, okay. Went to a new one. Hold on. Let me go back.
I don't want to say I hate Dwayne Wade because that's a very strong word, but I extremely, strongly dislike Dwayne Wade. Can't stand the guy.
I mean, what is?
Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Maybe it's the same guy, but I guess the thing that I had the biggest issue with is, to your point, Dwayne Wade saw the sculpture before. Like, do you think maybe it's because, Dwayne Wade has become very inclusive and very passive in his lifestyle nowadays, that like maybe he didn't want to offend the artist?
He said something about, this is immortalizing me forever.
That's not you, bro. I don't even know who that is. But to your point, yeah, I mean, this one's perfect. I mean, that's perfect. Where's that? Best, right? Boom. And there's been some scary ones on the Hall of Fame ones too.
Look at that one, dude. Like, who made that? They need to be hired for everything going forward.
You can't tell me that we can't AI fucking generate this shit and we can't 3D print it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like, what are we doing?
That's what I'm doing. My 7-year-old's big wish list for Christmas, by the way.
That's 3D printer?
Number one thing. He wants a 3D printer.
What's he gonna make?
I'm worried.
Exactly.
There's alarms going off in my head as he's begging me for it. Like,
flashlight?
What are you trying to do? No, he's 7, but I mean, he can make a firearm.
Wait, which kid?
The 7-year-old.
That's Noah?
Oliver, wild one.
Oliver. Noah's the older one.
Yes.
Noah could be in that category.
Noah is actually so Noah is in chorus at school, and November 12th they are singing before the Magic game at the arena. And
nice. What are they singing?
There's a couple songs. One is "I'm Still Standing."
I'm still standing after all this time.
He has a solo.
Yeah.
In it as well too. He's like, I wouldn't try it out just for fun, and I actually got it. So
I'm still standing.
And what's the other one? It's like the other one is "Don't Stop Believing" that they're singing as well. So they're singing those.
Small town girl. Yeah.
They're singing those two songs, and he's got a solo on "I'm Still Standing," so he's excited.
I want to find this real quick before we end the show. Here we go.
By the way, I needed to get some wife beaters the other day. I'm sorry, whatever. Undershirts, t-shirts. I go to Walmart. You know how much those things are?
Now,
like $27
for a one or for a pack?
For a pack.
Pack of how many?
It's like 6.
That's weird. Now, this isn't the exact one that I wanted to show, but this is all I can do for time. But this is going to be him right here. These are going to be the other kids.
I get a little bit terrified, then I see the look in your eye. Turn around, fight.
Here he comes. Here comes Jeff Pitt.
And I need you now.
With the angelic voice. Bring it home.
Yep.
You thought that was going to go a different way, didn't you?
He gets it from Dad. Well, it says strippers deciding how they're going to make more money at the club.
Yeah,
so I was wondering what we were going to put out there, but
this isn't the one I wanted. I just, it was the one that
this is clearly a VIP area right here. That's in the background with a pole that is meant for, maybe a couple buddies to be hanging out with, and there to be a couple females around right here. Maybe 2 sitting with you, maybe 1 dancing on you, 1 on the pole. People are throwing some money out. I've been in these situations before. I will say.
There's no sex in the champagne room, no matter what they tell you. Chris Rock was right.
Depends on how much money you spend.
Nope. Not in the champagne room. There's other areas. Anyway, that's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. We hope you all had a great time. Thanks for hanging out with us. We had a great time hanging with you. We will be back next Wednesday. Maybe we'll get some shorts up. I tell you, I had obviously instant reactions with the Bears and stuff, but honestly, I was heavily medicated at that point.
I'll try to be better. It's largely my fault as well, too.
Well, it's always your fault. But
I was inebriated all weekend.
Well, that's the thing, is we're usually on our off times. We're doing the things that we're doing. Until then, we will see you next week. And if you're driving over this week, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane.
Be great and vote.